Hey guys, we're here from Radiant Clean. Today we're going to be doing a house wash and patio wash for this house in Tampa. And right now we're just going to do a quick walk around, see what we've got. Notice some dirt on the window sills and stuff. The wood looks a little old on some of these sills, so we're going to have to be careful with that paint because that is starting to flake off. But and on the shutters too, get some damage there. Find out what that extension cord goes to. Cord's a little dirty. Got some growth in the bottom here. Some damage to the wood down here. Yeah, these sills are gonna need to be replaced. Those are not in great shape. Look out here. Yeah, throughout the sills have some paint damage, so you're gonna have to be careful. And there's some damage underneath that. There's some cracking. Make sure the windows are closed. Got some damage along here. About some of these spots that might open. They didn't include a driveway cleaning. I'm kind of surprised, but and we're not doing the garage. We didn't include that. Make sure the back is open here. This brick we're going to need to be careful with. It's pretty dirty, but it is going to be easy to damage. Pop that open. So, looks like this is recycled brick. So we're going to have to be careful with that. I'm seeing a lot of mold and oh, there we go, some algae up there. That's going to be tough to reach. That is going to be a challenge. Might need to grab the ladder for that one. And then get the area out here. I'm gonna probably have to go over the fence to reach around out here, but not too bad. There's a couple of piles, mostly dirt, other than the patio is not great. I'm not sure I'm gonna use pressure on this. I might just rinse it off and see what we can do with that. We'll have to see, but reaching up there is gonna be a challenge. We're gonna have to figure out how to do that. We can do with this patio. Oh, we have some paint damage over here. It's just falling right off up there, so. Oh, I can hit that from over here, I guess. Okay. All right, well, so we're gonna get the hoses pulled, get this going. We're not too far from Bayshore down here. We're gonna need to be careful about getting water in here. Make sure we don't hit that too bad. Those are open into the crawl space, it looks like. All right, get the hoses pulled. I may start on the patio first. since we got to pull around to the back, but we will find out. So. I appreciate that pool area. You may not have heard what I said there, but what I'm doing here is pre-treating the pool area just because there's a huge amount of like buildup on these old bricks of mold and mildew and algae and stuff. So I'm just using the house wash mix that we normally use, which we're just downstream with some bleach. So it's not a very strong mix, so it's just enough to kind of pre-wet those with some bleach, some SH, and start killing that mildew while we're starting on the house. Here you can see, guys, we're putting down the first coat of sodium hypochlorite downstreaming through our pressure washer. So it's only about a 1.5% mix of SH. It's just enough to help clean up the mold and mildew, kill some of the organics, start rinsing off some of the grime and dirt. You can see these windowsills are just full of dirt and pollen. So that's what we're doing here, and then I'm going to let it dwell for a little bit after we do the initial spraying, and then we'll come back through and rinse it. As you can see, these windowsills just have like half an inch of just dirt and grime and pollen and stuff in them. We were trying to be careful with the windowsills because there is the flaking paint and the damaged wood and stuff, so I can't get too close to it or really try to put any pressure or anything on it, obviously. But and I was going to take the screens off to be able to get to them better because it's just really in there deep. But unfortunately, the screens came off inside the house. They latched from inside and nobody was home. So we tried to do the best we could with those sills, but they were pretty dirty. You can see here where I'm trying to reach those upper parts that have the mildew and whatnot on it, and I'm having to go through the screen. Unfortunately, I mean, normally we don't do that because we can usually get to it, but I'm trying to avoid climbing on the roof. But fortunately, we were able to get to those through the screen, so it wasn't impeding the water too much. So that ended up working out in the long run. And again, as we're hitting these sills, you can just see the huge amount of dirt that's going to come off these. There's just layers and layers of dust and grime on these windows. You just see it coming off there, just sheeting off. But more of that'll come off when we rinse it. But this application, again, is just to get the SH on the house and on the screens and windows and soffits and whatnot, so that we can kill some of those organics. But that just ain't even initial spraying. It's just taking literal mud off those windows. Trying to get that spot up there. I think it's going to come off, but it's going to be a tough one. All right, now we're gonna give her a rinse. You can see when I put my hand in the water like that, what I'm doing is actually smelling for the bleach. So on this system, because it's an 8 gallon a minute pump, it only takes a few seconds for bleach or for water to come through, depending on which cycle I have it on. So I'm doing rinse here, so I was just waiting for the bleach to clear out of the line. It only takes a few seconds, but I always double check just by smell, because it'll tell me if the bleach is still coming out or not. So guys, I decided not to hit these antique bricks with high pressure, so I'm just using a soft wash nozzle and getting some of the worst spots off, getting the grass out, weeds where I can. And I'm going to hit it with SH and kill some of that mold and mildew, but I don't want to risk etching these bricks because they're softer than your modern paver bricks. So you can tell that they're already pretty worn and beat up, so I don't want to cause any more damage. So this will take a little bit longer than for the surface washer, but I'd rather do that than risk any damage. And then once I hit the worst spots and grass, I'll come through and post-treat it, and that will help keep the grass and mildew down. So, but it's going to be a bit tedious. So I'd rather take some time rather than cause any damage. So you can see, much rather be using a surface cleaner, but we'll keep working away at this and clean it up for him.
And just to reiterate, I'm not using a pressure tip here. So this is one of our soft washing tips. So it's not really applying pressure. It's just applying a lot of water, like 8 gallons a minute. Because otherwise I would have just used the surface cleaner if we wanted to apply pressure. So just so anyone who wonders that it's not a high pressure tip, it's just a low pressure tip. You can see here we're just giving it a good rinse now with the ball nozzle. That puts out a little bit more volume of water than the regular nozzle, so it just helps with rinsing and to move a lot of this sand. So because this has never been sealed, that sand was just going everywhere. And so, this will help rinse some of that off, just move a lot more water and material, get some of that still stubborn moss and mildew and stuff off there. So, but trying to get loose sand off of these granular pavers and rough pavers is just a pain in the butt. So it takes a little while.
so we got as much of it done by low pressure as we could by hand. I didn't want to use the surface cleaner, but I'm treating it with a decent mix of SH right now to kill some of this mildew and the crooks and crevices of these bricks, keep the grass down, weeds. So this will lighten up. I probably got about 3% mix in this right now, because this mildew is pretty strong back in here. So I gotta hit that little spot up in the house. It's still being pesky. They didn't design this very well because I cannot reach back in there. I don't want to fall in the pool, so I'm gonna try to just get this by hand, but I do not want to take a swim right now with my camera. Has probably never been sealed, so that sand is just coming up wherever you put it. So, alright, let me try hitting this spot here. Then we'll come back and rinse it. It's kind of hard to reach from here, but it's got some pesky mildew or algae in it. Sit for a minute, make sure I hit it good enough. The roof is probably going to need to be done here in a little bit, but yeah, that's hit that good. If you guys can see that, but little 12 volt can reach when it's not too windy. Alright, we'll let that sit for a minute. I'll switch over to wash so that I can rinse the rest of the bleach out of the line while I'm doing that one little small spot.
I have our soft wash system on just rinse right now, so this is just plain water coming out. And I'm using this just to get some of that final dirt and grime out of the windowsills because they are so damaged that we don't want to apply any pressure to it at all. And so I was worried that even some of the pressure from our normal gun would be too much, even though it's on a soft wash tip. That this is much more gentle. It's just a 12 volt pump. So just giving these a final rinse to try to get off some of that residual dirt. And you can still see it's still coming off because we couldn't get those screens off. So trying our best here to get all that dirt, but it was years and years of neglect. So it's taking a little extra effort.
Alright guys, just finishing up here at this house in Tampa. Came out really nice. It was dirty. There's still a lot of paint damage and stuff, but we're just going around and removing our protection, putting the shutters back. But these windowsills were absolutely filthy before. And you can see there's some stuff here, but that's just staining and damage to the paint. But got all the dirt removed, got Got a lot of the pesky algae taken off. It's looking good. They're going to need a roof cleaning here sooner than later, but windowsills are looking good. Got that pesky algae up there. Gotta put some of these screens back. They weren't attached tightly, they came out. And then this is still wet, but that lightened that up immensely. So they're gonna need to reseal it, and I don't think it's ever been sealed. And they're gonna need to sand it. So it was tough getting that sand all out because it's just full of sand. So it's a little gritty, which will calm down when it rains, but there wasn't much we could do about that because there's no seal in there to hold it. But you can see up there we got the algae off, and over here we got the algae off that side as well. I think there's a little bit of oxidation up there, but that is what happens when you let algae sit too long. I had to be really careful around these windows because the paint and the wood is decaying. So I would have liked to get those a little bit cleaner, but they are fragile. So, all right guys, another great job here from Radiant Clean, making your houses sparkle again. We're off to another job here in Tampa, but we'll check in with you guys later. Have a great day.